Story time. Let me tell y'all about the time I dated a guy that I met while he was with his girlfriend. So it was summertime at the park. I met some friends just to like kick it. It was a summer fest going on. So, kind of had a tent propped up and we're outside drinking, eating, playing games, summertime vibes. I'm sitting on a picnic blanket, just playing Uno, minding my business, and getting up, talking, dancing, there's music playing. And there's lots of tents around. So there's like a nearby tent, like maybe about 6 feet across the grass from us. I don't know if I got up to like throw something away or whatever, but I physically bumped into him on accident. Like I bumped into him. And of course I apologized because I didn't mean to. I kind of made him like spill his drink or whatever. But anyway, it wasn't a big deal. It didn't like spill on him and he didn't make it a big deal. So, he introduced himself, told me his name. I told him mine. He sat down and played Uno with us. Now, eventually his homeboys came over. The two groups started commingling. We had a good time. So by the end of the evening, he asked me like, what's your IG? Like we exchanged Instagrams. Of course, we were doing typical millennial Instagram shit, going through each other's profiles, like in every picture. That's the way of showing somebody that you're interested. And he slides in my DMs like 2 days later. On some friendly stuff, he wants to keep the conversation going. We talk, we end up exchanging phone numbers. We talk some more. So now we're at Thursday, Friday. He asked me if I want to go out Saturday. So I go out with him on Saturday. We have a good time. And we continue to go out for a couple of more days after that. Fast forward to maybe 2 weeks later, but maybe 4 to 5 days later, I'm sitting on my homegirl's couch and telling her about how him and I are just having a good time. She says to me, which guy are you talking about? I can't remember which one because she was at the park with me. So she's trying to kind of put a face with the name. I show her his Instagram and she's like, wait a minute. I think he has a girlfriend. I'm like, you don't have a girlfriend? She was like, yes, she does. I know his girlfriend. Like, I don't know her personally, but I saw her at the park with him. And in fact, I spoke to her. I was like, what you talking about, Willis? My friend says like, yeah, like I know somebody that knows her. I don't really know her personally. I kind of gave her a hit nod while we was at the park, but she was at the park too. I said, I know you fucking lying to me right now. Go through his Instagram together. I was like, he does not have a girlfriend. My friend was like, yes, he does. So I asked him, I texted him, I said, hey, like, do you have a girlfriend? And he replied, it depends on what day it is. I said, so on the day that I met you, she wasn't your girlfriend on that day? He was like, yeah, well, she was with me. So at this point, I'm confused. I'm like, well, are you in an open relationship? Like, what's going on? He's like, no. I was like, so you just out here talking to people? He was like, I'm doing me. I'm living life. And I was like, okay, sir. To be honest, I didn't feel away. We hadn't been intimate. We had just gone out on a few dates. The conversation was all good. He had been a perfect gentleman. Of course, like we had nice dates too. Like, and of course he paid for everything. So I wasn't upset because we hadn't got to the point where I was emotionally invested. Like I said, we hadn't been intimate or anything. No, I can't explain it. I had a weird feeling. Well, let me take you through my thought process. When I first met him, right, on accident, I bumped into him. He was physically attractive enough for me to exchange IGs. But I didn't know anything else about him. But when we met up and went out, I saw that he drove a nice car. He had his own home. I'd been over to his house. He owned his own home, had a nice home. Definitely was doing well in life. But I guess all that glitters isn't gold. So needless to say, I stopped talking to him. And I wasn't like disrespectful or anything about it. I didn't like go off on him. I didn't block him. I just like really fell back because I felt like from our conversations, he was just a nice person to know. And he picked up on that and he backed off after a couple of days. I think the biggest takeaway from my experience with him, the single man Instagram. I don't think I would ever be okay with being in a relationship with someone who regularly posts on social media but doesn't post me. He had a single man Instagram because he was out here holding himself out to the world like a single man. Ladies, we have to remain vigilant out here in these streets.